Hello everyone. Welcome to the next journey of Tien and Jack. Today, we will continue to follow the emotional story of Tien's search for her long-lost parents. After moments of hope and disappointment, will this journey lead them to the answers they have been longing for? Stay tuned. Jack and Tien continued their journey. The road ahead was far from easy, with winding paths and mud left behind by days of rain. Despite their fatigue, they kept encouraging each other to move forward. Jack managed to borrow a motorbike to make traveling easier. He confidently took the wheel, navigating the rough, challenging terrain. Meanwhile, Tien sat behind him, unable to hide her worry whenever the tires slipped slightly in the mud. But deep in her eyes was an unwavering determination. We will find them. I must find them. They arrived at a new village and sought out the village chief, a man who had lived there for many years and knew the local population well. After hearing Tien's story, the chief recalled a family who had lost a child a long time ago. Tien's eyes lit up with hope upon hearing this information. She turned to Jack, her hands trembling slightly with emotion, but a small smile appeared on her lips. Finally, perhaps this is the clue I've been waiting for. Jack and Tien followed the village chief to the home of an elderly family. Before them stood an old woman with a pensive look in her eyes. "Ma'am, please look at me. Could I be your child?" Tien asked, her voice full of hope. The woman looked at her for a long time and then shook her head gently. "My child, it's not you. My child had a disability in one arm. But you don't." The words hit Tien like a dagger, and the smile on her lips faded. But she didn't give up. "Ma'am, please think carefully. It took me so much effort to get here. Every small clue is a big hope for me. I truly want to know who my parents are." The woman sighed, her eyes full of regret. "I'm truly sorry, but I don't think you're my child. And if you're not, I don't know how to help you." Tien bowed her head, hiding the tears rolling down her cheeks. She took a deep breath and tried to smile. "Thank you, ma'am. I'll keep searching. I won't give up." On their way out of the village, Jack and Tien saw children barefoot in the biting cold. Tien's gaze faltered, remembering the difficult days of her childhood. She turned to Jack and softly said, "Jack, can we buy socks and some candy for these kids? I don't want them to suffer like I did." Jack immediately nodded. "Of course, whatever you want to do. I'm always with you." The two returned to the market to buy thermal socks and candy. When they returned, Tien carefully put the warm socks on the cold, small feet of the children. She smiled, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I hope these small things can make them feel a little warmer." Jack stood beside her, his eyes filled with pride for the woman he loved. "We didn't find the answers today, but these smiles are enough to warm our hearts." Jack and Tien continued their journey. Although they still hadn't found Tien's family, they knew that every step forward was a ray of hope. With compassion and perseverance, they believed the best was yet to come. Quote, "There is a story that the elders often tell us while sitting by the fire. In a remote mountain region, where clouds shroud the peaks year-round and narrow winding paths lead into dense forests, a small family lived in a humble home. This family consisted of a blind couple and their two children, a son and a daughter. Life was far from easy for them. The couple, who had lost their sight at a young age, relied on gathering and preparing traditional medicinal herbs to make a living. Their remedies, passed down through generations, not only healed the sick but also served as the family's sole source of income in this desolate place. Despite their poverty, they were bound by an unwavering love for one another. The eldest son, though still young, deeply understood the hardships his parents endured, each time he saw them tapping their way up the forest trails with their canes. His heart ached. One day, he mustered the courage to say to them, "Let me go with you. I'll guide you so you don't have to struggle so much." The boy became the family's eyes, leading his parents over steep slopes and through deep forests in search of rare herbs. Though the days were exhausting, they were always filled with laughter and the bond of a shared purpose. Back at home, the youngest daughter, just a few years old, helped with small tasks like preparing meals or tidying up. Despite her age, she was a great source of encouragement. Each evening when the family returned from their long day, she would excitedly run out to greet them, her face beaming with pride as she exclaimed, "You're amazing, Mom, Dad, and Big Brother." But one day, disaster struck. That day, as usual, The couple and their son ventured into the forest to gather herbs. The youngest daughter stayed home alone, obediently waiting for their return. Yet, when they came back, the small house was cold and empty. They called out her name in panic, searching every corner of the house. But she was nowhere to be found. A sense of dread overwhelmed them, and they rushed outside, asking every neighbor they could find. But their remote location offered few answers. No one had seen the little girl. A passerby shrugged and said, "I didn't see anyone. Strangers never come to this place." The blind couple's eyes filled with unspeakable pain. The father clenched his fists in frustration, while the mother collapsed to the ground, weeping. The son, though weighed down by sorrow, tried to stay composed and said to his parents, "We can't give up. She's still out there, waiting for us to find her." And so, their search began. The blind couple and their son guided one another through villages, forests, and streams. Each hesitant step they took was filled with hope. Each inquiry they made was a faint glimmer of light. Though they were met with countless headshakes and the trail grew colder with each passing day, they never gave up. Each night, they sat together by the fire, reassuring themselves that tomorrow, somewhere, they would find her. Days and months passed, yet the small family never gave up hope of finding their little girl. Despite living in a remote mountain region, they traveled far and wide, through villages, markets, asking everyone they met, only to be met with sorrowful shakes of the head. The father, though blind, persisted in leading the way with his frail yet strong hands. The mother, with a heart torn by grief, constantly reassured herself. As long as we find her, all the hardships will be worth it. The older brother, now more mature, not only served as the family's eyes but also became their pillar of strength, encouraging them to never give up. There were moments when exhaustion nearly overwhelmed them, when it felt impossible to continue. But whenever one of them faltered, they found strength in each other's eyes. The father would remind them, as long as we keep searching, there is still hope. One day, we will find her. Their search stretched on for years. The family balanced their journey with their need to make a living. Their traditional herbal remedies, which had healed many, gradually became well known. Through this work, the couple earned enough money to improve their lives. They built a sturdier house amidst the mountains. Thanks to their precious herbal knowledge, the mother was able to heal her eyesight, seeing light for the first time after years of darkness. The older brother, with his intelligence and dedication, studied to become a civil engineer. He left the mountains for a time to learn and work in the city. Now, he has a house and a car, but his heart remains restless with memories of his little sister. Though life had improved, the pain of losing their daughter never faded. During family meals, their eyes would often drift to an empty chair, wondering where their little girl was, if she was safe, if she was happy. Whenever the brother traveled, he would make a point of asking around about a girl who had gone missing years ago. Each time he returned home, he would share with his parents the faint leads he had gathered. Though none ever led to answers, still, he never lost hope, and neither did his parents. Quote, "Time passed by swiftly, and decades had gone by since the youngest daughter went missing. The once young family had grown older, yet their hearts never let go of hope. The mother, now able to see again thanks to the family's traditional remedies, often stood on the porch, her gaze fixed on the road leading to the village. She silently wondered, is she still alive? Does she remember her family? If she comes back, will she recognize us?" The father, though frail with age, continued to encourage his wife and son. "She's still out there somewhere. As long as we don't give up, there will come a day when we reunite." The older brother, now a successful engineer, often felt a pang of guilt every time he drove home to visit. If I hadn't gone to the forest with mom and dad that day, maybe my little sister wouldn't have been taken. But no matter how many years pass, I'll never stop looking for you. One evening, as the family was preparing dinner, the brother brought home unexpected news. During a work trip to a distant region, he had heard a story about a young woman who was adopted by a family after being abandoned. The tale stuck with him, making him believe it might be about his sister. The clues he brought back reignited a powerful flame of hope within the family. They decided to set out on another journey, this time to the remote land where the story had originated. They carried with them all their love, longing, and faith that they would finally uncover the truth. Would their journey lead to a reunion? Could this young woman truly be the youngest daughter they had been waiting for all these years? The answers remained unknown, but their hearts held steadfast to the miracles of life. Looking back at their journey so far, it became clear that even though they had yet to find their missing child, the love and unity of their family had been a guiding light, sustaining their hope and faith. Could the girl they were searching for be Tien, the one now on her journey to find her own parents with Jack? Perhaps fate had intertwined invisible threads, guiding them toward a reunion where loss and sorrow would give way to happiness and tears of joy. Stay tuned for the next chapter of this deeply emotional story. Quote,